Hey guys, welcome back to Market Mastery. You're with your host, Trader Dax. Today we're going to cover off the SPX, Bitcoin, what's going on in the markets, why all the altcoins are dumping, everything you need to know for the next couple of weeks in terms of macroeconomics with CPI and FOMC coming up on the 14th and the 22nd. If you're liking our content, please give us a like, share, or drop a comment in the section below because that really helps the channel grow and the YouTube algorithm. If you do like our content, you might want to check out our free course that we're running at the moment and also access to our Discord community. I will leave the link below. You just need to drop us your email and then we will be able to send out the free course to you. Okay, let's get into the content. Basically, here we're looking at SPX and we are in this sideways range at the moment, finding support here at the confluence of this downtrend level. Right, just through here that we bounced off really nicely a couple of days ago, last week, and the 200 daily moving average. Now, we need to see if this confluence of support can hold, but I'm not too confident. We might see price chop around here for a little bit before we either get a direction or a break to the upside. So for a bullish break, similar to the price action that we had down here, we are going to need, I think, some sort of a chop sideways for a little bit and then a break to the upside. And then the target would be this level up here at basically 4,300, right? I think that's less likely. I think more likely probably what we're going to see is a break down to the downside. For something like that, this bullish action to happen, we're going to need CPI to come in colder than expected. So we're going to need to see it come in lower than expected on the 14th, which is Tuesday next week, right? Jerome Powell was talking at the Senate hearings over the last couple of days, and he basically said, that they're probably going to have to raise interest rates higher than the central bank at first had thought, and also leave them higher for longer, right? Which basically means that inflation is sticky at the moment and they're having trouble getting it down. Now, that could change on the reading if we do get a much lower than expected reading, and then they'll probably just do 25 at FOMC. If it's higher than expected again, then FOMC on the 22nd, they're going to have to raise 20 basis points. But I think the big turning point will be on the 14th, and that will give us the decision if this is going to break to the upside or if this is going to break to the downside. Because if we have that hotter than expected, then, you know, definitely FOMC, all the dot plots are going to come in higher, right? So last December, right, which was back here, was the last time we had a dot plot release and all dot plots came in higher than expected. And look at this down candle, extremely strong and aggressive. And then we had three really strong down candles before going to this sideways range, right? We could see the same type of price action if we do get dot plots all revised higher again, which has sort of been signaled to the market a little bit by Powell over the last few days. So that's going to be interesting to see if that does happen, or if we get a 50 basis point hike as well. But I think that'll probably be pretty obvious by the CPI release, right? So hot CPI, we're going down because that means rates are going to go higher. All these things are going to go much higher. All the rates, 10-year, 2-year, they're all going to pump pretty hard. Wait, where can I find them in my list? Sorry, guys. Right, the 10-year, which is absolutely pumping at the moment, the 2-year as well, flying right now. Those are going to go much higher. And what we really need to see is we need to see financial conditions, right? This line go a little bit higher, in my opinion. This needs to rally higher because at the moment we're in a period where they're actually trying to pump the market and cause growth, and financial conditions are looser than what they were back in 2016. So to me, that doesn't really make much sense. Then inflation is going to come down when we're higher than that, right? Okay, so that is stock market and macro. Let's go take a quick look at BTC and what's happening over here on this front. Pretty much this support order block through here has to hold at 21,500, okay? We could see price action get a bounce here because we are a little bit oversold on some of our time frames, right? So starting to get bullish divergences, oversold on the RSI. A few other indicators indicating potential swing to the upside is brewing, but we need to see some sort of action like this, in my opinion, right? That chop sideways for a little bit, then you get the SFP and then maybe go, and that would give us the potential breakout of, you know, this falling wedge, right? But remember, just because we're in this shape, it still has to break this downtrend to be a confirmed falling wedge, and we want to see, you know, a really nice bull div, which there isn't really one at the moment. You know, because we did just make a new lower low, right? Our cipher indicator is going to need to give it a buy entry soon, and you know, then we can sort of look for that swing. So on the last one, when we swung out of this range, we did even have a really nice bull div and pin bar on the 4-hour, on the 12-hour here as well, right? So we'll be looking for something similar and a breakout of the local range to upside, and that would sort of get us in a nice position for a push and a rally back up to these highs, right? So that would be the position that we'd be looking for out of here. And if that can't hold, which I think is probably going to be more likely, especially if CPI data comes in hot, most likely we're coming back down here to this range low around 19K. And I think, you know, if you look at the weekly time frame, it doesn't look very good at the moment for BTC. We do have these 3 red candles in a row, which basically is signaling the start of a new downtrend. The last couple of times that this happened was the start of this downtrend through here, all the way from 48K down to 20K, and from the previous all-time high, right? So 3 red candles in a row usually isn't a good signal. So it's going to be important to see how this closes. It's basically 3 black crows. And it is an indication that the market is having a reversal to the downside, right? Let's see how it ends up playing out, though, because, you know, we could always pump to the upside and break this falling wedge before Monday morning, but that remains to be seen at the moment. So there is a little bit of support here as well from this previous range, right? We do have this order block through here, so we could end up just getting a Morningstar reversal out of here and then breaking the upside and pushing up here, but that's going to need some help from the stock market, which in my opinion is looking pretty heavy at the moment and has moved into a downtrend. Right, this is the beginning of a downtrend. We need to see this area, this level through here hold, though. If this can't hold and we break to the downside, right, then I think it's most likely we're going to come back to this 19K area through here. There is a bit of confluence of support around these levels as well. And we do have our fib level, our golden zone, our 618 through there also. So that lines up perfectly with a nice area of support down here. So that's the sort of zone I'm looking for, the 618 around 19K. I think you would expect that to hold because of all this support through here as well. So basically, this is just a really strong zone of support. So we want to see that area hold, basically. And yeah, some nice entries to present something like that, right? Now, in terms of other altcoins, right, feeling the pinch, to be honest. A lot of them broke down pretty aggressively on the Silvergate news. I think they're just adding a little bit of extra fear into the market as well. But I mean, look at things like DXDY, like these were already collapsing, sitting on support, and then we broke down that support, but we are back in the golden zone. So potentially going to get some bounces on alts and then pull back to range lows. If everything else continues to sell off with the sticky inflation continuing to be an issue, right? LDO, really nice head and shoulders short up here. I did take profit of that in there, but now just waiting to see if it breaks this uptrend support level. And if that can't hold, then I expect this to come back down to 1.8 at least. Other ones at the moment, Solana not looking very good. Bullish back above this range low level through here, right? So if we can get a reclaim of that, then that's a long, but I think probably more likely is this will try for some sort of a rally, get rejected from there, and then continue back down, probably coming back down to about $14, right? So looking for that sort of price action, continue this movement down to the downside on altcoins. Probably the only altcoin that's looking better than BTC is Ethereum. And we need to wait to see how this, multi-year range ends up playing out. But it is holding up a little bit nicer than Ethereum and the BTC, potentially as well in this big falling wedge pattern. But that remains to be seen. We need to see the breakout of this downtrend before that is confirmed. Otherwise, it's probably going to come back to 1471 and potentially. We could have a capitulation as well back to range low. So a lot of altcoins, everybody was like, oh, we went through accumulation through here on BTC, and now we've run. But if you just look at Ethereum like this by itself, like that just looks like the range low, and this is the range high, and we just look like we're oscillating in between the range, right? So, it would make sense to me that this comes back to range lows, and this is preliminary support. That's our selling climax, automatic rally, and this is just another rally in the accumulation range, and we're getting ready to have one more pullback. A lot of altcoins look like this at the moment. So let me quickly grab up a couple more. Let's kind of quick look at audio, right? Higher time frame, apologies. Right, it just looks like we've had our, the preliminary support selling climax all the way down here, and then we've bounced a range high, and it looks like it needs to come back down a few more times. Like this range through here could last until a post halving, right? Maybe a lot of these altcoins, they might continue to do this sort of stuff. This is what they did in the last. This is what they all did in the last bull market, sorry, in the last bear market. They all did big long ranges like this until post halving, and then they broke out of their accumulation range. So don't be surprised if stuff like this happens again. Okay, guys. LDO is a little bit of a different one. Sorry, we just looked at that. DXDY, right, as well, can potentially continues sideways. Alluvium was a good one as well. Potentially this was just selling climax down here, the double bottom. That was our automatic rally, and it's coming back down to test range lows again, right? So I want to be a buyer of any of these altcoins if they sweep the low through here, because that could be the spring before we move back up to range high, and then maybe we have one more downtrend, and then it doesn't break the swing lows, or maybe one more time we get another spring, and then that's it. We have the halving somewhere around here, and then everything ends up breaking out after the halving. We have that big long multi-year accumulation range, the same as what we had on Ethereum back here, right? So this is what I'm expecting. Potentially on a lot of altcoins, all we just saw was this rally through here, right? And then we're about to have this chop and pull back through here, sideways for a bit longer. And then we want to be getting in on the flip of the range high, right? So this is the halving happened through here, right? We're going to see the flip of the range high through here, and then the takeoff, right? So that's what I'm looking for on altcoins at the moment. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Hope that helped you and gave you some alpha. Please give us a like, subscribe, or share this content with your friends. We'll see you all in the next episode.